And now bringing you that hard, hitting fight analysis, submitting you into paralysis. Josh Thompson head kicking leg to dome, and Big John McCarthy saying let's get it on.
Well, hello and welcome to the Weighing In podcast. We had an early, freaking early, so damn early. I was up at 3 a.m. to watch the UFC. My man Josh was up at 2 a.m. I love that part of it. I don't even think he went to bed, but we had a whole show. It is Saturday, and we're going to get this show out to you on a Saturday instead of a Sunday because everything has just happened in China, and it's way different in time there to here. So we're going to talk about the whole thing. We got the PFL that occurred with a new champion. The Edwards brothers are now both champions at a certain point, just different promotions, no problem. We got all kinds of things to talk about. My man, how you doing? Are you awake?
I'm struggling, man. I was struggling. I gotta be 100% transparent for you guys. I was
hard.
Struggling.
Yeah.
I didn't get back from Fury fights last night in Dallas until like close to 12:30. Finally laid down. I was like, I only get about an hour of sleep. I was like, you know what? So what I did was I turned the fights on the app, left it on my TV, and then as soon as they came on, said this event hasn't started yet, it just woke me up. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I set my alarm, obviously, too, just in case. Those first couple fights, I was a little bit in and out of it.
Yeah, they were tough.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is that when I'm not home, my kids, they slide into bed where I normally sleep. So I got home, I was like, shit. And it's just Friday.
See, that's when you just take them, grab them by the ankle, and just
I wanted to throw them out. But man, there's no better place than having your kids like you, man. It just feels good. And think about that. Like I've actually started thinking about that.
See, this is what happens. I'll have my grandkids spend the night and like the young ones, and they'll come into bed and they dominate. Mm-hmm. I mean, dominate the center of the ring. Yeah. And they turn sideways and then they're kicking you in the face. Oh, yeah. It's like, what am I doing here? I'm going out to the couch.
Yeah.
I'm off.
You get better sleep on the recliner.
Dude, absolutely, man. The lazy boy is way more comfortable.
No, I get it. But like, I like that my kids like to sleep with their mom when I'm not in town, right? Like when I'm coming home late, it just feels good to know that they want to be around the mother. So, that, and then I came in, kids are sleeping, cool, having getting starting to crash out or whatever it is. But those fights came on. I was like, I got to get up. Once I came into the studio, just started watching them here. I'm like, I got to get out of here. Yeah. So, but it does feel good to know that your kids feel so comfortable just to get up and they want to be near you at any moment, anytime. And it makes you feel like you're doing a good job. So
you are doing a good job.
Pat myself on the back a little bit.
There you go. It also makes you feel good that your kids think so little of you that they have no problem taking your spot as soon as you're gone.
No. It's worse when the freaking dog does it.
Oh,
I'm like, oh man. So, I come home sometimes. I'll get up out of bed, go run, come back, and my dog will be posted up with the two kids and the wife in bed, just cuddled up in my spot. I'm like, you little shit. Now I got to wash my sheets. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, man. But hey, we had some great fights, and also too, we'll talk a little bit about the PFL, and then we got some news that we're going to but we're going to talk about. With all the drama that went on with the weight cutting issues from Brian Battle all the way to Brian Ortega. Man, these Bryans don't seem to be carrying their weight these days, or actually, they are carrying the weight.
They're carrying a little too much water.
But you know what? Let's go ahead and jump right into what just happened right now. So UFC in Asia. And big time main event. I got to be honest. I thought Zhang was doing very well.
He was
very well, dominating the fight. John, what did you take away from his performance, though? Because I don't want to be the negative guy. I love kind of being the positive guy. Wink, wink. But in this,
hold on, I got to laugh for a while.
Wink, wink. What I took away was he's talented. He's got skills. There's two things actually I took away. The guy cannot cut the cage off. He has no concept of how to cut the cage off. That's one. And
which cost him to be out of position, which allowed him to be kicked the way he was. But go ahead.
And if you're chasing all the time, it just doesn't make any sense. You got to figure that out. That's one. Two is he's basically a middleweight. He's got thick legs, got a thick trunk. That's going to be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But I feel like he possibly could make middleweight. He's not a big 205 pounder.
No, he's not. He's not that monster that you see all the time. at 205 that you look and go, how the hell do you make 205?
Think about it, John Rakic, Dominic Reyes. I mean, these guys are enormous.
But you're also Johnny Walker.
Yeah. Johnny
Walker is big. So that's 6'6", and I think that kind of made Zhang look a little bit smaller than he actually is. He's got you're talking a 20-pound difference there. I don't think that he's got it in him because he's not carrying a whole lot of excess. So I mean, could he do it? Possibly, but I look and I think, is it going to affect his performance? Possibly, maybe. Look, he lost. I'll admit, as that second round started, I said to my wife, yeah, this is going to be over in this round. There's going to be a knockout. And I was thinking Zhang was going to knock out Johnny Walker. But as soon as the kick landed, and look, until you have been kicked in the leg and the perennial nerve shuts down, you'll never have an idea of what it's like to try to stand. You can't stand on that leg. You can't put pressure on the leg.
Yeah.
And so you're a one-legged fighter inside of the cage, and you have someone coming after you, and it's a hard position to be in. And it can happen off of one kick. We've seen it happen, Josh. We've seen it happen at the beginning of a fight, haven't we?
Yep.
And so it's something that it just takes the right kick in the right spot to hit that nerve and shut it off, or make it actually, go into overdrive. So you can't have the signals going to your leg. As soon as that happened, I was thinking for Johnny Walker, he went after him. I was thinking, make him stand up.
Yeah.
Make him stand up, go ahead and hit that thing again and just put him down again. And, they'll end up having to stop the fight. But Johnny Walker did a good job going after him. Got a little crazy at some of it, but this is where people get all upset. And it's like, man, when you are this close to winning that fight, to getting the stoppage, you're not looking at exact positions that your opponent is, and you're trying to go after.
You're talking about the illegal hit to the back of
the
head.
There was, but
you just jumped right into it. So our people listening have no clue what you're talking about. Forgot to mention the fact that there was some illegal shot.
I didn't say the words.
Yeah, I had to say it.
Yeah, you did.
We have listeners.
Nice job. But it's a matter of, hey, it was a great comeback by Johnny Walker because he didn't look good in the first round. He was looking tired. Mm-hmm. I did like what Eric Nixick said to him when he went back to the corner, because he was a little bit. You could see him gulping, and he said, "Wow, that was an interesting round," And he sits down to everything is to try to bring him down. He did a good job of that, and then Johnny Walker went out and did what he was supposed to do in the beginning. So great performance. You got to give it to him. He won. He called out Jan Blachowicz. Kind of like that. That's a good call out.
42 years old. Yeah. Well,
if you're going to call someone out, call out the fucking old guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a smart move.
Colby Covington's made his whole career off of that. So,
man.
But John, I'm looking at the 205-pound division. Okay, you got Johnny Walker, who's enormous. Yeah. You've got Dominic Reyes, enormous. Rakic, enormous. Blachowicz is pretty big. Carlos Ulberg, pretty big.
Damn.
Yuri's not super big, but Jamal Hill, he's tall. He's kind of long. He's not. I mean, he comes in a little chubby, but he's kind of a big guy too.
He's got big legs.
Yeah, Ozdemir's got
same
thick
thing.
Legs, got a thick trunk. You get into these guys. I just feel like he's kind of in that position of where if you can make 185 without killing yourself or just a little bit of diet and nutrition, I would suggest to go down. But then, because you get down into that division, though,
that division is not easy anymore.
It's not an easy division. It used to be the weakest in the sport since the conception of this sport. And now it's one of the toughest divisions. You got fucking murderers row, basically. I mean, all the way down into rankings of number 10, 11, 12, somewhat in that area. Think about this. Paulo-Costa, who fought for the title, was number 13. That's fucking crazy. So you got some
Marvin Vittori, who had fought for the titles at 14.
There you go.
Jared Cannonier, who fought for the titles at fucking 11.
Yeah.
It's like
this is wild, man. Wild. And then you got, obviously the other guys that are coming up, Brendan Allen making his little run, Fluffy Hernandez making a run, RDR making a run. So there's a lot of tough fight there. I'm not saying it's going to get easier. I'm just saying physically, the guys at 205, they're big, man. They're big. They're explosive. They got big power. And if you can't cut the cage off, I don't think in some of these other fights, I don't think he'll be the one moving forward. Because if you try to fight Dominic Reyes, you try to fight Rakic, those guys, that's their whole game, is to like come forward and just bully you. You know, they're weight bullies. I mean, big guys. Just let me impose my will. Let me use my reach. So, look, I think the world of Zhang. I think he's got big upside potential. He's got to remedy a couple little things, figure out those issues, and when he does, I think he'll be back. He'll be back. Yeah. Johnny Walker, fantastic, great call out. Like I think that's exactly where you need to do. Try to get yourself up into that top 5. Who can you get there with? You know, Jan Blachowicz, who is
perfect call.
42 years old. Yeah. Still got Polish power. Power's last thing to go. Go ahead. Let it go. Let's go ahead and talk Brian Ortega versus Aljo. It obviously was not the fight that we all thought it was going to be. John, you and I were boasting this fight, talking about how great it was going to be. Great grappling match. 2 ferrets. Me saying 2 ferrets. No. We look, we'll talk more about the weight cut and stuff because we're going to actually put that into a Brian battle conversation as well with Brian Ortega. So we'll mix that into some news. But we're going to strictly just talk about the fight right now. This fight from the get, because of the weight cut issues, John, there was some, obviously a lot of controversy around it. And then having the performance that Brian Ortega had. What goes through your mind as a fan? That's one. 2 is, if you're Brian Ortega, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I that's exactly your last statement. Mm-hmm. Brian, what are you thinking? Are you truly really into this? Is this, I can tell you, when Brian was young and I knew him before he was ever in the UFC and did his fights and, would talk to him and stuff. He would always talk about, I love fighting. That's great, man. That's what you need to. Okay. You got it. This has got to be what you want to do. And, even in his interviews, I love fighting. Okay. Then why are you not putting the things into it that are going to make you the success that you were earlier in your career? Because there seems to be something askew. There seems to be something that is changing, that is making it to where, and it's not just the competition, because he's faced great competition for a long time now. When you're facing, the Frankie Edgars and the Max Holloways and these, you're going to get wins and losses, and they don't come easy. I'm not trying, please, I'm not taking anything away from what Aljamain did, but there were moments in this fight where you're looking at Brian and you're saying, there's your opportunity, go. There's your opening, go. And he's not. Mm-hmm. And when you are not capable of seeing those moments and pulling the trigger, it becomes a very difficult thing to win the fight. And right now, I just don't see that same offensive aggression from him. At times, I'm going to say it this way. We talked about, this fight and, who was better in areas. And we both picked out that, Brian is a better stand-up fighter, technically, than Aljamain. He is. And you could see it in the movement of what he was doing. But when it's like having a gun with no bullets in it.
Yep.
It's just a big piece of iron that you better start hitting someone over the head with, because it's useless in any other fashion. Well, that's what I'm seeing out of what he's doing with his stand-up and just the whole game plan of what's going on, because Aljamain is not the better striker, but he was the better striker tonight. Because he landed way more effectively and the better shots overall. Mm-hmm. And I got to give him credit for that, because, he went out there, and I really think he went out there with the game plan. I'm not going to wrestle for a long time. So he was saying, I'm going to stand with this guy. Good on you, Aljamain. That was a hell of a fucking thing to commit to, and you made it successful. But I really, there's got to be something to light a fire to open up the mindset of Brian Ortega to get back to being the aggressive, offensive-based fighter that he once was.
Yeah, your coach has got to get through to you to say, hey, no matter what, you got to pull the trigger. Yeah. Like you said, we talked about this fight in the midweek show about how Brian's the better striker. But tonight it was Aljo's jab that was just peppering him left and right. He had no answer. Brian Ortega had no answer for the jab, not to slip and move your head offline, not to like parry it down and counter.
I was gonna say, there you go.
Not to wrestle, not to push kick, to do anything. He didn't do it. There was nothing there. And that's a coaching issue in terms of getting through to your fighter and say, hey, I need you to break through. I've had moments in fights where I just couldn't get my shit together, and my coaches had to switch. Like Javier stepped out and Bob came in. It's like, hey, fucking wake up.
Yeah.
And it still didn't work. But it was but the fact that they tried, they knew they weren't getting through to me. There's moments like that. You have those moments.
You could hear Paul Herrera, who is basically one of his grappling, his wrestling coach. And he was the one in there and he's saying, hey, you're down 2 rounds. Paul was being absolutely open and honest. He wasn't sugarcoating anything. He was going and saying, hey, we're losing this. And he continued to do it as the rounds went by. And again, there was nothing that could ignite. I saw Brian kind of try to open it up and he became more aggressive. But again, being aggressive is not moving forward. Being aggressive is landing shots. I don't care if you're going
that movement.
Yeah, I don't care if you're going forward or backwards. Aggression is landing things that can damage your opponent.
Yeah, but like you said, I don't want to take anything away from Aljo. Aljo came out, said he was going to stand, basically, and went out there and did it. Did exactly what he needed to do. Brian didn't help the issue by not throwing punches.
Yeah.
Made it easy for Aljo to get away with just doing the jab. And then even when Aljo did get the takedown, beautifully done. And you could see that Aljo felt so comfortable when he was in Brian's guard. Once they got sweaty, it's like, I'm good.
No, he just postured up. He was just posturing.
Did a great job. Like obviously Aljo being one of the best grapplers, if not the best grappler in the sport. He's one of those guys. People just talk about how great he is in the wrestling and the grappling, the back control, the side control, all of those things. So a fantastic fighter. I thought he had a great game plan. I also want to give him a ton of fucking credit. You know how many fighters would have said, no, I'm not taking this fight?
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's be honest. UFC greased his palm a little bit, but
yeah, damn straight.
8 pounds. You miss weight by 7-8 pounds. I mean,
you want me to do what?
2 pounds away from
we got to talk.
In a whole nother weight class.
Oh, we got to talk.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and then obviously
my throat's getting scratchy.
And then obviously it being, Aljo did the interview beforehand going, I'm not really even getting paid more to do a 5-round co-main event. Like, what's the point? Why am I doing this? It's extra rounds of training. All these things. That was the Aljo interview, which we'll talk about also. But in this position, it's difficult to realize you're going to fight somebody who missed weight by 8 pounds. Not only did they miss weight by 8 pounds, now you still want me to fight him. And if I lose, what's that going to do to me? Because it will affect you. No matter what people say, it will affect him in the rankings. He may drop 1 or 2. That's still 1 or 2 further away. Sure. You know how hard it is to gain that back, to get to that position? So, man, I got to give Aljo a ton of credit. He took the fight against a very dangerous guy who's known for his grappling. And honestly, a lot of people, and us included, thought Brian was the better striker. Yeah. It just did, Brian didn't come out and throw, and Aljo was able to take advantage of it. Aljo's got a fantastic jab, mixed it up from a little bit of the feints, in the wrestling, mixed up some of the combinations. It made it very difficult for, I think, Brian to get the beat on him. And I thought Aljo fought a great fight, man. You got to give him credit. Flew all the way to another country, different side of the world, and goes, you know what? I didn't fly here to fucking not fight. Took the grease palm, and then said, hey, I'm going to cash out, head back home, get my money. So, dude, great job.
Papa's buying a new watch and shoes, man.
Great job for him, man. Great job for him. I think it's fantastic. And that's a big step up right there. I think the UFC is going to be like, okay, look, you did us a solid. I know we paid you, but
which is, look at, and Aljamain's been on the other side of that solid. And so this is good for him. It's good for his career with UFC, and he's showing. Look, he is. Take a look at the 45s. Man, he's right there now. He is right there.
Yeah, what is he, number 3 or 4 now? Because Brian was at number 3. Oh, Brian was number 5.
Aljamain was at 10. So
yeah,
Brian's going to move down. He's going to move up. but Aljamain will be somewhere, I would think, around 8.
Yeah. So I have Aljo at 7. You must not have refreshed your thing. And I got Brian at 5. So he'll move up at least 2 spots. I don't know if he'll jump Arnold Allen, but Arnold's not he needs to be a lot more active. Yeah.
There's something you can talk to people about.
I saw Kevin Holland last night. I know. I saw Kevin Holland last night. He's fighting again here soon.
Yeah.
He's like, 5 fights in this year. I'm like, damn, son.
That's Charles Johnson, who fought earlier and had an incredible fight. It was one of the good fights on the card.
Yeah.
Look at how busy he is. This was his 3rd fight of the year. He's averaging, 4 fights a year.
That's
UFC
loves those guys.
Yeah.
UFC loves those guys. And he comes to fight too.
Yeah, they can depend on you. Yeah. And you put on a performance.
Yep. No, I agree. Next fight. What do you got there? Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta.
Well, I just want to go, what did I say?
What do you mean?
What did I say on the last show? Josh, I don't want to jinx this, but this should end in a knockout, but I know it's not going to.
But John,
I jinxed it.
I would take this fight, though. This was a fucking fantastic heavyweight fight.
It was a good heavyweight fight.
Down.
Yeah.
This was a great fight. Look, if it's going to be a heavyweight fight like this, I'll take the distance.
You're okay.
Yeah, normally when you get heavyweight fights past the round and a half, they're hanging on each other, barely throwing punches. These guys were throwing, and they were throwing everything with bad intentions. They wanted the knockout. I got a little concerned in one of the very first exchanges. They got that clash of heads.
Oh,
I was like, oof.
That was a nasty one for Sergey.
And I'm surprised.
Wasn't bad for Acosta because Acosta's head was down.
Yeah.
But it was a bad one for Sergey. You saw his head snap back from it.
Yeah, I was surprised that the ref didn't actually try to jump in and be, hey, let's give you guys a second.
Yeah, let me just, are you okay?
It's all about the angle, man, right? The ref's got to be in the right position. Come on, Mark Goddard, get it together. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, they kept carried on. They carried on just fine.
Yeah.
So, but overall, great performance by both fighters. I'm not going to take anything away from Acosta. These are the kind of heavyweights that you want to see. Acosta doesn't look the part with the little tub around the waist.
Gas tank, man, because he doesn't get tired. He keeps going.
Yeah, he's pushing, man. And I thought Pavlovich looked fantastic. Looked great. The output was fantastic, dictating the pace of the fight.
I think the big difference in the fight, you're talking about that output. I think that Sergey his output obviously was a little bit more than Acosta's, as far as he just seemed to throw the bigger, better shots at times that landed, but Acosta was holding back, looking for that perfect shot. You're never going to find the perfect. It'll find its way if you're throwing. And he's got to just get back to throwing, because look, if there's one thing about Acosta as a heavyweight, he's got speed.
Yeah.
Fast. So.
No, that's it. Paul Bonatello was that way. Big tubby belly, but fast hands.
Yeah,
he had fast hands.
Dude, he had Paul had one of the best jabs in MMA.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. The way to beat Paul was like just punch him in the gut. It was easy. Mudaerji versus Kevin Borjas.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that one.
Just he could have probably potentially put him away. And the same thing with Kevin Borjas was very similar to the Brian Ortega situation. His corner was pleading with them too. You got to throw. Yeah. You can't win this fight unless you throw. Yeah. I know you're having a hard time covering the distance, but you got to work your way in there. Like, you've got to move your head offline. You've got to lower your level. You got to wrestle a little bit. Whatever. You got to mix it up. Nothing is going to happen unless
unless you make it. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's exactly it. But again, with Mudaerji, I'm like, hey, he's standing in front of you. Go. And he's like, he's landing good shots when he throws, but he's not throwing a ton either. And it's like, man, go after him. Yeah. That one honestly was the big disappointment for me on the card itself. Yeah, I thought that was actually going to be a good fight, because I've watched Borjas before. He's aggressive. I know Mudaerji's talented. He's aggressive. I thought they were going to just go out there and just sling. Negative.
Yeah. So. Kiefer Crosbie, and I'm not giving a try to fucking pronounce this guy's name.
Nueraji.
What? Yeah, but what's his Tara?
No. See, that's where you make your mistake. You're trying to go full tard. Don't go full tard.
Trying to say full names is very. Look, we know Kiefer Crosbie because from SBG, from fighting in Bellator, and he had some issues there in Bellator in terms of personality wise and confrontations with the promotion and this and that. But overall, he normally came out and fought hard. Never said he fought smart. He fought hard. It was definitely one of my I enjoyed watching him fight because he always kind of made it a scrap. It was always a back and forth battle somewhat, and he had some tough fights that he had to deal with. But in this situation, I don't know what he was thinking. Just being once he kind of got off balance, John, he just pulled guard.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not a guard player. You've never been a guard player. Get yourself back to your feet and throw some shots, throw some punches. You got some pop in your hands. But even when he got to his feet, John, he just punched the clinch and then grabbed and tried to get takedowns. I'm like, you're not a grappler. You're not a wrestler. I don't care. So now if you are a wrestler, I don't care. That's not where your bread and butter is. And that's not where you could have won this fight. So I didn't understand the logic behind, I don't know who was helping coach him. I don't know anything about that, but this is not the way that he needs to fight. It's good to have that in your back pocket. Sure, I can survive in the guard. Sure, I can get to half guard. Sure, I can get back to my feet. Those are things you use when you need to.
Yeah.
You don't run to them when you didn't need to. You got power in your hands. Utilize that power.
He's got powerful kicks too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it though. If I'm going to look at one thing though in this, he did himself a solid because when he got kneed to the face, it was an absolutely illegal knee. It absolutely landed with power enough to cut him too. Has a big cut based on the knee, and he didn't pull the, oh my God, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
And he went and he said, nope, I'm ready to fight. No,
I'm saying kind of a good card to not pulled up.
That's right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of, look, that right there, the UFC is going to give him another fight.
You think so?
Yep.
He didn't look great though, John.
Yeah, he didn't look great, but you can sit there and say, well, he got hit with a big knee and that hurt him, and then he just went back out and he tried, but he was already hurt from the knee and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of things. If there was one thing in it that I would have, liked to see, Mark Goddard did a great job of taking, the points and stuff. It's not like he has a decision.
2 points.
It's an automatic 2 points.
Why is it an automatic?
He could not take 1 point.
Oh, why?
Because you have a foul, which was intentional. He intentionally threw that knee with a grounded fighter, and you had an injury. He got cut, right?
Okay.
If you have an intentional foul with injury, it's automatically you must take 2 points.
Didn't know that. See, something new.
Learning something new every day. But you take a look. The only thing I'm going to look.
All you people at home, you guys didn't fucking know either. Don't look at me.
I would tell Mark the same thing. Hey, you did a great job with that. You know what? Slow it down. Why are you slowing it down?
Yeah, he just put him right back out there.
Dude, he went really fast.
Yeah.
And it's like, slow it down. Give the guy more time, because where did he get hit?
Yeah.
In the head, in the face. So, obviously, hey, let's give him a little bit. I'm not saying that you can sit there and go, he'd be wrong if he went and said, I'll give you 5 minutes, which I've seen guys do. No, but I'm going to slow this down. I'm going to go and I'm going to walk around and talk to the commission, and I'm going to do these things, not because I need to, because I am going to give Kiefer Crosbie more time based upon being kneed to the face.
He doesn't get a 5 minutes for that cut and that.
No.
As
soon as he says, he wants to fight, and then the doctor says he can fight, Mark has to get that fight underway within a reasonable amount of time.
That sucks. That sucks, especially after a cut.
Yeah, it does.
Cut, damn.
Well, see, and this is the other part of
it.
We actually put something into the unified rules where it's kind of hanging in limbo. So it's really not part of the rules. And it was that, hey, if you get cut by an illegal blow, they can bring the cut man in to try to work on that cut and close it up so it doesn't cause you as much of a problem, during that round as, you're going to have to fight your way through the whole round with this bad cut and then hopefully get it taken care of in between. You can actually bring the cut man in. That would have been a good thing if they would have been able to do it based upon it would have given more time. And that's what that's the whole thing. That was the only thing in that whole thing. I'm like, it was rushed so fast. You're not being fair to Kiefer.
Yeah. The other that reminds me of, like you're saying, bring it in, for the cut guy to kind of look at it, see what he can do to kind of clean it up a little bit so it doesn't affect him as much.
Stop the bleeding on it.
It's like getting poked in the eye with the wet, damp towel.
Exactly.
Give it a second to clear it. Let me clear it out. Let me go ahead and see. No, I get it. I didn't know about the 2-point rule though.
Yeah. So
that's I knew that you could take 2 points. I didn't know that if there was damage like to a cut and then it wasn't intent. Like I didn't know that. I just thought that was at discretion of the referee.
Yeah, no discretion. That's
because he's the sole arbiter, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Yes. Very nice. Look at you. Look at the big brain on
things that I know. The things that I know.
This
Gage Young really versus who's that?
This was a really good fight.
Gage was a good fight.
Maheshate.
However you want to say it.
It is. Maheshate.
Back and forth battle, great fight. A lot of good exchanges in this. John, what's your take on this?
First off, Gage Young is a lot better than people give him credit for. He's a talented young fighter. He switches back and forth from orthodox to southpaw very fluidly. He can land a good jab with either hand as far as the way he throws it. His kicks come and they're hard. I'm going to really say it this way. Maheshate lost this fight.
Yeah.
He really did, because he had, there was so many things that he could have done at times, and he was landing good shots and then stopped at times. And you look and you go, why are you stopping? And it did look like he got tired. And there was that one point where I want to say it was in the second round. I think Gage Young actually goes to take him down, and then he kind of gives him the takedown, and he turns to his back, and I went, "You're broken. You just showed me you're breaking." But he kind of came back, but not enough to win the round and stuff. But I think if you're going to look at it, Maheshate has got a lot of talent, especially in the stand-up, and he's got power in his hands. You can see that, he's got some snap, but he needs to work on his whole game. His defensive wrestling is good. His offensive is not. And it's just, this is one of those ones he'll go back and watch this fight and he's going to go, damn.
Yeah.
Because he could have won this fight.
Yeah. When you look, there's moments when you land something and you don't follow up. That's either because you're tired or you're afraid to get tired.
Yeah.
Or you're just afraid of getting clipped in the exchanges, which means you're not fully comfortable letting go of 2s and 3s and 4s and following up on what your next combination will be. You're not visually seeing everything as you're throwing. You're thinking something's going to sneak up behind you, so you hold back, and then that costs you.
Something's going to sneak up behind you.
Yeah, I mean, just like in the next fight with Charles Johnson and Kavanagh. Like the kid, kid
is a perfect example to everyone of make a mistake and a good fighter takes advantage of it. And he did.
John, this kid's good.
Oh,
Kavanagh kid.
I'm telling Josh, I was watching him going. First off, Charles Johnson is not slow, and he looked slow.
Yeah.
Compared to Kavanagh. I was like, God damn, he's faster than I gave him credit for. He was talented. Incredibly explosive and beautiful technique, straight shots, the kicks, everything he was doing. And I think he got a little bit cocky, look, anytime you're in the pocket and you step back with your hands all the way down, no one taught him that.
I didn't look at it as cockiness. If I took a close look at, because I was really enjoying watching him fight.
Oh my God.
He was clean and crisp in the first, started slowing down towards the end of the first. Second round, I think just got to him. He started to kind of started making mistakes. Little tiny things, hands down, coming out, backing out. I don't think it was so much cockiness. I think the moment got to him. He's fighting Charles Johnson. This guy's got some skill on the feet. He was throwing Charles around. He was doing everything to him. But I think he did too much and made it. It was, it kind of was dominating the fight, but also was trying to perform too much. He looked good, Sean. Yes. 9-0, and he's now 9-1. But the kid was 9-0.
Yeah.
You
could see why he's 9-0.
26 years old.
Yeah. He's good. He's going to be the future.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good look to him. He's not ugly. He's a good looking body. Like I'm just look. You have to be 100% honest with yourself. Like the kid's good looking. The kid fights his ass off. He's young, 26 years old. UFC's like licking their chops, going,
hell yeah, we got one here.
Yes, exactly. So, and I mean, if he stays on track and
Charles Johnson is the prospect killer, man.
I know this guy, and he's active, which means. Yeah, a lot of these guys, if you don't come in ready and they throw Charles at you, you better be ready to fight. It's gonna because Charles can wrestle. Charles got great striking, a lot of movement, hard to deal with, jumping knees, flying knees, push kicks. He does it all, man. But I thought Kavanagh looked fantastic up until the part where he started to slow down.
Up to the point where he got knocked out.
And up until the part where he got knocked out. Oh man, I hate when that happens.
Shit happens.
I say that shit all the time about the Yves Edwards fight, man. I was looking fucking great.
Oh, you were looking great in that fight.
Son of a bitch.
Right up to the point where he knocked you the fuck out.
Yeah,
like son of a bitch.
You don't have to rub it in.
I'm not rubbing it in. You should. If there's one thing I know in that one, you've looked at that one too many times. I can't even hurt you with that one, man.
It's not even that I try to look at it. Just people fucking. Anytime I get in an argument with somebody on social media, that's the first thing they go to. I'm like, okay, that shit happened like 20 years ago. Calm down. Yeah. Actually, it is over 20 years now. It is. It's 27 years or 26 years, somewhere around there. Sorry, not that long. No, sorry, 22 years.
2002?
Yeah, 2003, somewhere around there. End of 2003. Rong versus Austin Hubbard. Great fight.
Rong. Austin Hubbard. Really good fight. Yeah,
great fight.
And really good fight by Austin Hubbard against a guy that is known to have power in his hands, speed, very tough to take down. I thought Austin Hubbard fought a great fight. I know he lost the fight, but he can hold his head up high.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's those fights where you look and you go, man, you did everything that I could ask of you against your opponent, really. You know, he tried for the takedowns. There was a couple times when, when he took him down and he's up against and he's got his hands clenched around the waist. I'm saying, stand up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Let him stand up with him, because then you can elevate him as he's coming up and get him up, bring him to the center, drop him down. So he can't do this, the scoot back. But other than that, I really can't pick out anything that I would say, hey, you needed to change this. He fought his ass off in the stand-up. He was trying different things. He stood in the pocket. He did a great job. It's just that Rongzhu's got, I think a little bit more athleticism. He matches up well with what Austin Hubbard does, and he's hard to take down and keep down. And Austin had that problem with him, and so it was, he was forced to be in the stand-up game, and overall, he was going to lose a lot of those battles, but just fought his ass off.
No, I agree. I thought it was a fantastic fight. He was just one step behind the whole time. Yeah. First round was close. I mean, not close, but it was like one of those rounds.
I'll give it.
There's moments in that first round. As the fight started going on longer, he started losing those moments. There were less and less.
Yeah.
Kyle Daukaus, man, what a great return. Welcome back to the UFC. And no better way to do it against Michel Bahia. Like, just beautifully done. Executed, nicely done.
Yeah.
I mean, he's back.
Woo. I'll tell you what, just the way when he came out, his stance, the comfort, you could tell that he was not, the moment, I'm back. Not at all. I've been here. And the freaking overhand right, how it landed, I'm going to sit there and say, we talk all the time about, knockouts and why, he shouldn't have stopped and stuff. This is the perfect example to everyone out there. I want you to watch this fight again if you can, and watch when Daukaus hits Bahia. When he does, Bahia goes out. The neurons get separated, and he's falling. But as he's falling, he actually is waking up, and you'll see his hands go from being out front, kind of stiff, to all of a sudden they go to almost break his fall. And so he's there, and Mark Goddard lets it go. It was a great job of letting it go, because you got to. He's there, and he's in a defensive position. Okay, let's let this ride out. Then you see Daukaus jump on him, and I want to say it was like 2 shots into it. He hits him with a hammer fist, and he goes out. You can see him go out, and Goddard puts it in his head. I got to stop it. He jumps in to stop it. Daukaus hits him one more time before Goddard's able to get in there, and that wakes Pereira back up, and he's ready to go. And this is what happens in fighting for referees. It was a great stoppage by Goddard. He did the right thing. But a lot of people are going to look and say, no, he was getting up. It's like, no, you saw him go out, and that's why it was ruled a knockout, because he saw him go out. Not only did he go out on that first one for just a short second, he went out big time on the ground. You can see him go limp, and then he gets knocked right back into consciousness. And this happens in fighting. I'm telling you, back 20 some years ago, when I had the ringside physicians and stuff, I would ask them, so I'm going to ask you guys, if a fighter is hit and they're knocked out and they get hit again, is it possible for them to get knocked back into consciousness? And back then they all said, nope, impossible. It's just going to intensify the situation. I said, okay, then let's watch this. And I would plug in at the time it was a VHS, right? And show all these
fucking beta.
And they're like, beta.
Fucking disc.
It was before disc.
Yeah.
So, and they would go, oh, I've never seen that. No shit, you haven't seen it, but it's possible. It happens all the time.
Yeah, doctors don't know shit.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I thought it was an early stoppage. So the way he jumped up and ran up, it was like right there ready to fight. I mean, like, fuck. I mean, whatever. If he dies, he dies. That's the way you look at it.
He's ready to fight. Let him go.
No. Look, I actually thought it was a good stoppage. Got dropped, let it go, let him take one more shot, just like Jason Herzog should have allowed Jeff Neal fight. By the way, I saw Jeff Neal last night too.
Oh, did you?
And Jeff even said it was an early stoppage.
He did not, because I watched it. Dude, his Twitter told me the best part. Did you see his Twitter?
He said he's pissed off. He's mad. He went back and watched it. Jason Herzog screwed him.
Did you see his Twitter?
No, I didn't.
It was great because he said, man, that was an early stoppage. I was ready to go. And he goes, no, I'm just kidding. That was a good stoppage.
That's great.
That was great.
No, I saw Kevin Holland last night at Fury Fighting, and I saw Jeff Neal there last night as well. And so it was pretty funny, man. Anyways, it was, I thought it was a great stoppage. It was. He stepped in, hit him with the hammer fist, woke him back up. You could see it, but his body went limp before he was able to get that second shot in, and it was done. It was over. So good job by Kyle Daukaus, man. Great performance, and so on. Weston Willis versus Yayi.
Beautiful fucking straight. I mean, that straight right and that left hook that fucking finished the fucking show on him. Oh,
nasty.
Yeah,
Slumped him in the corner. Remember Tommy Spears against Anthony Rumble Johnson?
Yep,
very similar type of
very similar to just crumpled.
Yeah, and just the way they were sitting against the fence, kind of hunched over like that. Yeah. Oof. John, any other fights on here you want to talk about?
No, that was the last one that I would say.
Okay. All right. But by the way, the first two fights were very good, entertaining, good stuff. Ezekiel choke. I mean,
Ezekiel choke by Iran.
Yeah, just good, like
good technique.
I don't know. They're evolving. Look, I was over in Asia in 2010, 2011, 2012. I was there for a couple months at a time. Each time I was there. And the grappling over there was trash. And here we are 14 years later, 15 years later, and they're getting a lot better. Yeah. A lot better. And I know, this is huge. This is huge. I know these are all old school, like the Ezekiel choke, but look, they work if you're done properly.
Yeah, but dude,
it's very hard to get.
First round dry, man, that you get that in the right place. It's hard, especially when guys are driving their weight and their everything down into it. It sucks.
Yeah. Great job. Great win, great finish. And this is big. This is a big deal for all these Chinese Asian fighters that are over there right now. And you're fighting there in front of your family, friends, people that can make it, whatever it is, but in your own country. You're not having to make the 13, 14-hour flight, over here to the States, wherever else.
The people from Brazil and America too.
Yeah. Right. So
some long flights.
Great performance. Hey guys, follow us over at OnlyFans. Subscribe us over there. It is free. Like I said, we have partnered with them for the last 2 years, but we are also the first podcast they ever partnered with. And we have a great relationship with them. There's other fighters that are on that platform. We actually just had a meeting with them talking and discussing about different ways that we can get you guys more bonus features on our platform. So those new ideas will be coming soon. So make sure you subscribe to us over there. It is free. It gives us a way to connect with you guys a little bit better. Okay. From George to Podcast Dave, when we do our live chats, we do take questions from that platform specifically. So if you follow us over there, we'll be able to pull those questions from that platform as well and answer them on our shows on the Tuesday Night Lives. Also, there's other athletes on there. You got Billy Kemper, who's a pro surfer. He's on there. But you also have other fighters that are on there as well. Demetrius Johnson, Luke Rockhold, those guys, and Chris Cyborg. She's extremely active on there. DJ's pretty active as well on there. You've got Corey Sandhagen. You've got Justin Gaethje. There's a lot of talent on that on the OnlyFans platform. So make sure you guys subscribe to them as well when you're over there. And let's keep this ball rolling. Look, this is another avenue for fans to connect, not just with us and ask questions, but it's also just another avenue for you guys to connect with the other MMA fighters that are on that platform that we've actually kind of helped lead the way. Like I said, we were the first podcast to merge with them and join with them and partner with them. And we've actually helped open up the eyes to a lot of these other athletes and say, hey, you know what? You guys can be on this platform. Don't worry about all the other stuff, but you guys can be there to connect with your fans. And that's what we're doing right now. So join us over there. It is free. George, let's go ahead and talk about the PFL. What do you got for the PFL? Let me see this card here. Let me pull this up. Let's start off with the main event. You got Dalton Rosta versus Fabian Edwards.
Headshot dead. Boom. Boom.
Wow.
I'll tell you, this is one of those. I feel for Dalton Rosta, because he was fighting a good fight.
Yeah.
But this is, everything is, we talk about, look, you can't make mistakes against great fighters. You make a mistake against a great fighter, and they're going to pick up on the mistake, and then they're going to make you pay for it. And this is a perfect example of that. And I thought Fabian Edwards did a beautiful job. And Fabian at this point has become top-notch. He is absolutely, he used to be able to be exposed by a good wrestler taking him down. Not anymore. He's in that position where his takedown defense is now like his brother's. And it's really impressive. His stand-up, he's very calm. That's the one thing that I look at Fabian Edwards, and the thing I think when I watch him is, man, he's never going to get tired because he's got zero. He's not stressed at all. Look at him. He's just he's out there having fun,
relaxed.
Yep, he's so relaxed, and it's like, hey, that's the way you do it, man. It's not easy to get to that point, but when you get it and you're confident, man, you can do great things. Dalton was actually competing well against him. I thought it was a fairly even fight. It was close, but Fabian was throwing that low kick, and you saw Dalton reacting to it with the hands. Yeah. And as soon as that happens, that's no different than like what happened when John Jones and Cormier fought the second time. As soon as Jones saw Cormier reaching for that lower kick, he was like, I got you.
Yeah.
And he's not going to do it right away, but he's going to go back to, okay, now let me go do it another time. Oh, you did the same thing. Now I know. And the next time I go to throw this, I'm just going to make it look like it's coming low. You're going to drop that hand, and I'm going to wrap you upside the head. And that's exactly what happened here. This was, you look at it, Josh. Take a look at Leon's win against Kamaru Usman. Look at the kick, and look at Fabian's win here against Dalton Rosta. It's the same thing.
Yeah, what it is, it's those southpaw fighters that kick coming from that side. Conventional fighters are just not used to it. Yeah. And the tendency is to kind of keep that right hand kind of a little bit more tucked to your chin, which means the foot can still wrap around the backside. And if they fake the jab or they fake the straight left, and they follow up with the kick, you go to parry, and it brings the hand slightly across a little bit further. And then next that foot's wrapping around the side of your neck. Yeah. I thought Dalton Rosta was looking fantastic.
He was
looking good.
Looking so good. I look at this, and Dalton, obviously Dalton is disappointed, but son, you're getting better. You are improving. You can see how he's improving in everything. One of his biggest problems in his early fights, if you remember watching him, was he was very tense, and he was always and going, and he's learned. You can see his progression of how he's now a relaxed fighter. Yeah. And he's letting things happen. He's just getting better and better. And it's like, yep, you didn't win it this time. Next year, 2026 is your year, because man, you are just continue on the road that you're on. Yeah, it's a setback. It's a bump in the road, but man, you're a hell of a fighter and you're only getting better. Keep doing those things that you're doing that are making you better. It's just going to, bump it up another couple percentage points. And that's what it takes to come out the winner.
No, I agree. I think he's made so many jumps in the way he fights. His performances have gotten better. He's just, like you said, more relaxed, composed, still extremely explosive.
Oh yeah.
He's not an old fighter. He's 11-2. He's got 2 losses. Let's be real. Come on. And he trains an American top team. He's got a great coach. He's got great people surrounding him. I mean, shit, his girlfriend's Dakota Dacheva.
Dude, so, she looked together with the pink. I go, dude, you guys planned that. That's fucking happening, man. That's happening right there.
So I mean, look, it happens, man. I love to see it like that too, where they pan to her on the face. I didn't know that they were together until after that whole thing. But when they panned to her face and you saw her reaction of like, fuck. It's the game. And one thing I'm sure she knows. Obviously, she knows as well. But in this situation, it's he's got a good group around him. He's gotten better every single time. Coming off of his loss last time, he's gotten better. He's gotten so much better since that loss. And then now this time he'll get better. He'll get even better.
I'm telling you, this to me is exactly Fabian Edwards. Fabian was in that position and he's getting better, but making these little mistakes that are causing him to not win the fight. And he got better and better. And look at where he's at now. Look at what happened.
Yeah.
So just follow that same path because Fabian is now, I'm telling you, that rematch between Fabian and Costello. Costello won it the first time, but it was close because in the 3rd round, Fabian was really coming on. Yeah. And it was only a 3-round fight. This time it'd be a 5-round fight. That's going to be a hell of a rematch. Yeah. And Fabian is a much better fighter now than he was when he faced him the first time. So it's going to be interesting.
They're going to make Johnny Eblin and Dalton Rosta fight. And they're out of the same camp. So, I mean, John, it just makes sense. I know that
they
Johnny
work out
Eblin,
together. That's like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Look at this. I know I hate that too, but in these big gyms, you got to do it. Yeah. You can't have all these guys in one gym and expect them not to fight each other.
True.
That's not what we do. Yeah. So, look, I think
didn't Joshua Silveira fight someone out of his camp during this tournament?
Did he?
I remember.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'm not sure.
I was
Antonio. Oh, sorry. Oleg Popov versus Alexander Romanov.
Man, I'll tell you what. This actually went different than I thought. I thought Romanov has never been that guy that has a big gas tank, and he was in that whole thing. I'm like, oh, he's going to burn out. He's going to burn out because I watched him do it in the UFC. I've watched him do it, even in the PFL. Man, he turned that belly into a fucking gas tank, man. He fucking was going, dude. I like that. I got to have him show me how he did it because look, he didn't get, even there was that point, he kept losing the rounds and I was like, you got to do more. You got to do more. And it was just a lack of, doing stuff. And then he hurt Popov and he went after him. And I go, ooh, he's going to be exhausted, punched out. He sucked it up and continued on, man. I was incredibly impressed with his cardio and his performance in that fight. I thought he fought a smart fight. I thought he handled himself very well. He was almost like kind of giving the first couple rounds to let me hang weight on you. And like people have no concept unless you do it of what that hanging weight is. But when you have someone and you're getting your underhooks like Popov and I'm putting weight down, your arms just go dead. The lactic acid buildup gets to the point where your arms feel heavy. You can hardly move them. It was a good game plan. You could tell they went to his coach at a certain point early in the fight. And he said, yeah, he's doing, what we're supposed to do. Yeah, he's just give him time, and I was like, give him time. It was the first thing I was thinking, give him time. Shit, you're going to get exhausted.
Yeah.
He always does. Nope, he did not, man. So I was wrong about that. Ian Parker even put it out in his bet because it was like, nope, he's going to get tired and that's when Popov will take over. And by the end, Popov was the more exhausted fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, having to deal with the weight, I think.
Yeah.
You know, just because you're heavyweights doesn't mean anything. It just means that like you got to carry that guy. If you're the smaller guy, Popov is the smaller guy. It seems to be, anyways. Like Romanov with the big belly, the gut, but all like you said, turn it into a gas tank. Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Sullivan Cauley.
Man, I'll tell you, whew. Carlos Jr. I've always enjoyed watching him fight because he's tough, and he goes in there and he's got an incredible ground game, which is something you don't see a lot of the bigger guys having. And he's so good when he gets to the ground and his positional changes and his getting of the back. And he's an impressive guy when you look and say he doesn't have to be fighting, you know, but he is because he has something to prove to himself. I thought Sullivan Cauley went out there and, you know, I thought, again, he fought tough, especially in the stand-up. But when someone gets his back, someone needs to teach Sullivan Cauley some defense as far as, you know, someone on his back and stuff, because he just makes mistakes that lead to that choke being sunk in. But Sullivan Cauley fought tough. You know, he fought hard. And, you know, there was the cut that he received on the headbutt. You know, I know it was Carlos Jr. that was complaining about it, but it was Sullivan Cauley that got fucked up from it. And the part that is, I'm going to put it out there, you know, the referee went over and told him, you know, hey, you know, that was unintentional, but, you know, next time I'm taking a point. I'm like, it was both of them. It was mutual fucking motion. They both came in together. There was no attempt by Sullivan Cauley to fucking clash heads. There was no attempt by, you know, Shoeface to clash heads. What do you say? Next time I'm taking a point. But it was unfortunate that Sullivan got cut the way he did on it, but he got opened up. Yeah,
but let's remember though too, like in the beginning of the fight, Cauley dropped him and then rushed in and then got hit with the up kick.
Oh, that
and that
after Shoeface had already dropped Cauley.
Yeah, so but he rushed in and I'm getting hit with the up kick, and just this. There was a lot that happened all within that, like, what, 3.5 minute period.
Oh, yeah, dude, they were going.
It was a good first fight. Great fight. Both of these guys, I mean, Sullivan Cauley, right? He's got 2 losses now. Yep. One to Luke Trainer and then now to Shoeface.
Yep.
He's not old. He still has plenty of time. He's got plenty of time. So, Alexei Pergande versus Ethan Goss.
This is one of the fights I told people I think you're going to want to watch. Is Pergande's good. He's a talented young fighter, and you know when you say young fighter, you know you're looking for those guys that are you know in that freaking 27, 28. He's 24, 24 years old, and he handles himself very well in the cage. He understands. You know, the subtleties of, he knows how to, you watch a guy running, he's cutting the cage off the right way. He's doing all the things that you look at and you go, this kid knows how to fight. And it's just a matter of time. I would really like to see him in that featherweight tournament if they're going to have the tournament again in 2026, because he's the real deal. He was 7-0 now, as a fighter. And he's got good stand-up. He's got a good ground game. He understands how to wrestle. He's got the full package. I'm not saying that, you know, he can't be beat. He can. But, you know, an experienced guy like Goss, because Goss has been around some, you know, he's got some lost stuff. He should have the ability to create some problems for a young fighter. And when you see that he can't, it says a lot about the guy that he's fighting.
No, I agree. Lazaro Dayron versus Bryce Meredith. This was a fantastic fight.
God, this was a great fight.
It was fantastic.
Go ahead.
I mean, I was sitting with Rich Chow last night, who manages Bryce Meredith, and he's like, "Look, we were ahead 2 rounds. All we had to do was just get through the 3rd round." He's like, and he made a mistake and cost him. Just an unfortunate situation, right? Like but look, the thing is, he looked great, John. Trying to bring the action.
No loser in that fight.
PFL was excited about the fight, talking about it afterwards.
Went up.
Yeah. Everything, you know, I think both of them will probably end up being in the tournament next year.
Which is beautiful.
Which is awesome. And their bantamweight tournament. I think it's just perfect for these two guys. They both showed a lot. Look, Dayron can fucking wrestle. He's on the Cuban national team.
National team, yeah.
Dude can fucking wrestle, right?
Yes, dude, I'll tell you what. their wrestling basically,
Oh.
it canceled each other out. But there was some scrambles in there and some movement that was just beautiful.
Yeah,
Just
Dayron hit that
incredible
first.
stuff.
Dayron hit that first single leg, and then treetop Meredith. Meredith was able to wiggle back out, shot, turn, and spun. Shot in on the single to the double.
Switch. I was like,
what is
it was
going
beautiful.
on, man?
No, it was
This
beautiful.
Was awesome. This was awesome. So
people need to see that fight. If they have not seen that, you want to see a good fucking scrap between two guys that are wrestlers and that beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic fight.
It was
Dayron,
guys, especially
Dayron
that first round.
Yeah.
That first round, even the beginning of the second round, but I'm saying like the first round was like just back and forth, two ferrets getting after it.
Yep.
Just, it was awesome to see. I loved seeing such high level wrestling mixed in with some striking, some submission attempts, and then like you said, Bryce was winning the exchanges. He just looked like he got a little tired, got a little exhausted after all that wrestling, all the striking in that third round. And just got bad take, man. That's it. Them's are the breaks.
Them's are the breaks.
Oh, but man, I think he's made such big gains since he first came in, to the sport and seeing his growth. And then Dayron, man. If you remember the Dayron fight with the Italian gangster, Danny Sabatello, they fought last time in the PFL. That was a fucking scrap. I think it was a draw. It was a draw last July.
That's the only, if you want to say, because he's undefeated.
Yeah, last June or July, they fought to a draw.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that was his last fight, wasn't it?
I think it was his last fight. That was last July, John, a year ago. Over a year ago.
Again, that kid should not be sitting on the sidelines. He needs to be fighting off, and he's just getting better too.
Yeah. Kasanganay versus Andrew Sanchez.
Dude, this is one of those ones, both guys, fought in the UFC. Both guys had their moments where they were looking, good in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew Sanchez did a really good job throughout a lot of this fight. He had Impa in trouble at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
Impa was, landing some good shots, but it was the last bit, man. Just, and this is the fight can turn, because I think Sanchez was actually winning that fight.
Yeah.
And Impa turned it on its, head in the third. Not a whole lot of time left. Hits Sanchez with a huge shot, puts Sanchez down, and then makes the referee stop it. Great job by Impa to come back and get the win. But Andrew Sanchez has nothing to feel bad about. He fought a great fight.
John, any other fights on here you want to chat about?
I know there was some questioning on the Sergey Bilostenniy versus Carl Williams and the referee and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't good. Okay, I'm just gonna say, I don't know what to say. This is what happens. The same referee did certain. There was the referee, and it was the Antonio Carlos Jr. fight, I believe. And you see him elevating, and what I mean by elevating is, first off, he was big into, trying to impart himself into the fight. You don't want to do that. And then you see the big, fight, and he's getting more and more amplified in it. And it's because he's getting charged up about the fight. You don't want to charge up, man. Stay calm. Stay calm. No matter what's happening in the fight, your ability to make decisions is based upon you staying calm. So this is just what happens when, you have young officials who haven't been in the spotlight a lot. Maybe he's been, in there before. I've seen him in there before, but it takes time and repetitions for you to get comfortable with things and not get yourself where you're getting amped in those things. And so in that fight with Bilostenniy and Williams, let's give credit to Bilostenniy. First person ever to knock out Carl Williams. That's a big thing, because Carl Williams can fight, and he can fight in the stand-up. He's a good wrestler. So that was a big win for Sergey.
Huge win. Overall, I think like I said, that ref, like you said, was like amping himself up and like trying to like over control everything. Get here. No, come on, hurry up. Like, calm down, dude.
Calm down.
Look, an extra 2 seconds ain't gonna kill no one. Okay, like, well, just relax.
It takes it's like the fighters. This is what we were just talking about with Dalton Rosta. Before, when he first started fighting, he's just intense and very tight, and now you look and he's relaxed because he's gotten. It's no different for referees.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wish there was more of them.
My farm needs the earth, the air, and the water. I get my energy going on Element Electrolyte Drink Mix. Clean, good tasting energy that feeds me like I feed my plants and animals. And after a long day on the tractor, when it's time to shoot the podcast, I drink Element so that I can stay energized and stay salty. Let's get it on.
Hey guys, that's gonna wrap up our PFL top. And Keto George, what do you got for us? But Ginger George, I'm calling you Ginger George. Ginger George, I know you want to talk about the Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis fight in action. Let's get your opinion on this, Keto George. What do you think, Ginger George? What do you think of that fight?
I think
you think it's a fix.
I don't want to get sued, so I'm gonna say I think it's a
you saw that,
100% legal, legit fight, but it's an exhibition, so it won't be on anyone's record.
I'm just asking because I want to get everyone's opinion on whether they think this is going to be one of those fixed fights or if it's going to be a legit fight, or
I feel like it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be.
But let me ask you this. Okay,
you're just asking.
If you're Jake Paul and you don't knock him out, you don't stop him, what does that say?
But I mean, Jake's already setting it up. I'm fighting the best boxer there is right now in the world.
Well, I'll tell you
he's already setting it up.
Yeah, you can set it up all you want. If you're a guy that's going to walk into that cage, I don't know what their agreement is on weights, any of that. But let's say he walks in there at 200 pounds, okay, and you can't put away a 135-pound guy, and you're a boxer. A true boxer, because Jake considers himself a true boxer. That's not going to look right.
Well, John, I don't think it's any different than when his brother fought Floyd.
Totally is. His brother's a professional wrestler. Let's be honest. He's a part-time boxer. He's an amateur boxer. Okay? Big difference.
But his brother's also 15 pounds heavier than him.
Well, it's okay. Fucking Floyd is fucking 15 pounds heavier than Tank.
So then basically we're talking about the same thing though, John.
No, I have one person that has had how many boxing matches? How many boxing matches has Logan Paul had?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
He had 2 against KSI, both amateur and professional. Right? He had Dylan Dennis.
Did we count that one?
And Floyd.
Floyd, yeah. Okay, so 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand what you're saying. I get it. But I also think that neither one of those brothers give 2 shits what anyone thinks. They're catching their checks from Netflix.
It's all about money.
Come on.
It's all about money.
You can say what you want. I mean, like this whole thread of like I'm going to sue people that say that my fights are fixed.
That's okay.
I'm not saying your fights are fixed. I'm just saying they're retarded.
There you go.
Like you're like legit. Well, look, both sides are making a lot of money, so you're not going to hear any complaints out of them, which is fine. I get it. I get why you guys are doing it.
Yeah.
But where boxing is right now, they are legitimately helping Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh.
Boy, thank you.
They're helping them get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
So Jake Paul is single-handedly helping kill boxing. And he's like, "Oh, I'm making it better." No, actually, you're not.
No, because you're not
making it. You're making it a joke.
If he would have fought Anthony Joshua, okay, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
because that's who he was in negotiations with supposedly to fight, and that fell apart. And then this Tank exhibition comes up, and you look and you go, Tank is a tank in name only. Okay, he is a small human being. I'm not saying he's not a great boxer. He's a great boxer.
If you would have fought Canelo, I would have said okay.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I've been like, okay, look, this is legit. Like, I'll give you all the, even though he's smaller than you. But
yeah, but Canelo has fought all the way up to light heavyweight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just look. I don't even know if I want to. I know I'm going to end up watching it, John, because it's on Netflix.
Because we have to.
And I have Netflix, so it's on Netflix. But it's like, it's just one of those events where you're like, man, I don't want to support it because 135 pound, 140. Let's just say he's 147, 150, right? Like,
he's fat
ooh,
then.
wow. And you're 200. Even if you make 185, I don't know. It feels like you're really trying to crush this sport of boxing. And he keeps saying, "I'm here to make boxing. I'm making boxing better." No, you're not. You're actually making it a joke.
Yeah, George, do me a favor. Check the height of Gervonta Davis, height and reach.
Okay.
I mean, John, it really is sad. But I mean, like, give me other guy. Like, I saw Francis keeps, begging for this other fight with Deontay Wilder.
Tank is 5'5" and has a reach of 67.5 inches.
5'5". What is his? I wonder does it say what his walk around weight is? Do you see any of that on there? It's got to be 160, right? 155.
No, 55.
55?
50 to. If he's fighting at one,
he's 5.
It says between 150 160.
Yeah, something 50. Let's just call it 55. Damn.
Not a big human.
No, he's not, John.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No, he's fast. I give him that. And he's got
power. Yeah, he got power.
Yeah, but to knock out, he's gonna have to hit a whole lot of clean shots
to the body. Hit him with the Ryan.
When you're hitting a bigger body,
hit that Ryan.
It doesn't have as much. Yeah, well, if you hit the right spot, it's possible to do it to anyone. But
touch that liver. Let him know.
Hitting someone who's actually in shape to the body and dropping them that's bigger than you by that much, going to be rough.
George, Ian Garry don't want none of the smoke from Sean Brady. George, no smoke. He said, "Nope."
He does not.
Main event. Now I'll pass. Nope. I don't want to take the main events against Sean Brady. Sean Brady's too much for me. I'm good.
Wow.
What's your take, John?
Smart. It's not a bad idea. If you're going to take a look and say who is a bad matchup for Ian Garry, Sean Brady's that guy, because Sean Brady can take him off his feet.
Yeah,
and Sean Brady's ground game is better than his. So you look and you go, can Ian Garry stay on his feet? Now, if he can stay on his feet against Sean Brady, yeah, he's got a chance of winning the fight. But Leon Edwards didn't have that ability, and so have, a lot of other people have not. So Sean is now, again, time. Sean at this point as a fighter is way better than he was, 2 years ago. And we were, praising what he could do back then. He's way better now. And so I look at it and it's like, eventually Ian Garry's going to have to fight him. But if you don't have to fight him at this point, since it's not going to do, it's not like he's the young talent coming up. Sean's sitting there up at the top. And this is basically almost like a title eliminator. Whoever would win this fight would be able to fight for the title, and you would look and think, if you're Ian Garry, that's a great thing, that's what I want to do. But if you look at stylistically, how good is this matchup for me, it's not that good unless you can stay on your feet, and that's going to be tough to do in a 5-round fight. And Sean Brady's ground game is outstanding. His this is a guy, and no disrespect to anybody and stuff, when he, competed against Craig Jones, in a grappling match, it was boring. I'm going to tell you, I watched it, but Craig couldn't do anything with him, and Craig does something with everybody except for Gordon Ryan. All right. And so, the fact that he wasn't able to do anything with him, and Brady actually ended up winning the fucking match based upon the rules, it's telling you how good he is down there. And Ian is, I'm not going to say light years away from his level, but he's levels down in his ground at this point. So if you're Ian Garry, you're saying, hey, you know what? I want another year to get better. to match up with that. I kind of understand it.
George, you got something for us, right, on the Brian Battle situation?
Oh yeah. So Brian Battle, former UFC middleweight, had his third weight miss in total, second in a row. He recently just announced that he has signed with Dirty Boxing and will be fighting August 29th at 185 pounds. What do you guys think about this? Is it a just full cut from the UFC when you have guys like Brian Ortega missing weight like he did? That's what the fans have been mentioning online. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, excuse me, how many times has Brian Ortega missed weight? They're going to give it. They're going to give everyone a 1, maybe a 2. They gave him 3. 3 strikes, you're out. Josh, it's as simple as, the whole thing that I've always said. Be on time, make weight, fight your ass off. There's your goddamn fucking rules for being a fighter. Okay? Yeah. When they cannot rely on you to come in and make weight, they can't rely on you. And so what are they supposed to do? Continue in this fucking element that we don't know what Brian's going to come in. I love Brian Battle as a fighter. I think he's fun to watch. I like him on the mic. I think he's tough as hell. But this is a guy that was going from 170 up to 185 and didn't make weight at 185. Now, They did the right thing. They did the only thing they could do at the time. We can't trust you. And when you have a promoter that can't trust you, that's a problem. And so I don't blame the UFC for cutting him. I would love to see the PFL pick him up, but if I'm the PFL, I do have a bit of a concern. Hey, are you going to make weight? Because I need you to make weight. You're going to screw up my roster and screw up my, matchmaking if you don't.
Yeah, I think people like Brian Battle, the UFC sees right through it. They've had to deal with these type of fighters for years. And they're just like, look, you're going to continue to do what you want to do. So until we prove a point, using you as an example, people are going to think they can do the same thing. The Brian Ortega situation is a little bit different. You have a guy who's ranked in the top 5, didn't make weight, missed it by a lot. But he's also been talking about going to 55. So that means that the UFC should have seen the writing on the wall. It probably took this situation to get him there. And they're going to probably bump him up to 55 now. Or they're going to let him go, which I don't think they're going to let him go. They're going to let him try and make a run at 55, see where he's at 55. He just didn't have a great performance today, though. So you missed weight by 8 pounds, and then your
you kind of expected it. With everything that happened, were you expecting a great performance from Brian Ortega?
No, I wasn't expecting a great performance, but John, you didn't even make it. You're 8 pounds overweight. Okay. I expected a Khamzat Chimaev performance when he missed by 8 pounds. I didn't expect that, but I expected something where I have an 8-pound advantage. You made the weight. I didn't make the weight.
Just the way he looked at the
death's door. He was on death's door. And John, I said, like I was saying, 2 more pounds or 3 more pounds, he would have missed the 155-pound weight class too. That's what's wild to me. Yeah. Is 3 more pounds, he would have been over 156. And so you would have been like, man, you should just fight at 155. If you look like that, missing barely, missing 145 and barely making 155, some guys have actually cut a little bit too much weight because they stopped cutting at 10 or 6 a.m. and they show up to weigh-ins and their body keeps burning the weight and they show up at 153. This dude was on death's door at 153.
That's right.
I mean, he's supposed to be making 145. I love Brian as a fighter. I said this on a story post that I did on my Instagram, is that I love watching him fight. He just didn't pull the trigger tonight, which is not like him. He normally does let it go. Maybe it was because of the weight cut. He has gotten away from his grappling, which is what made him very popular. The T-City, the triangle, all of those things. That's what your bread and butter was. Having you fight at 155. I'd like to see a fight with him, maybe him and Charles Oliveira at 55. Once he gets a couple fights at 155. But I'm saying that kind of fight. There's interesting fights for me to match him up against at 155. But he's going to have to physically put some muscle on. He doesn't look like a physically strong fighter. He's got the reach and the length and the leverage he can use, but that's at 45. All of these guys are fucking animals at 55. All of
Yeah.
them. You know,
You're
and
right.
so I want to see him. I want to see him back in the UFC, give him the opportunity. But I also said this on my X account. I said, what the UFC decides to do with you is a direct reflection of how much money you generate and what your fan base is. If you don't have a fan base and you can't bring in views, Ronda Rousey said it a while ago. Remember when she was talking about the whole women's, female, like the gap of pay discrepancy, and she's like, "Well, I get paid because I bring in this amount of money."
Yeah, I
And that's
put
why.
butts in the
She's
seat.
like, yeah, she's like, this is why, and which 100% she was correct.
Yep.
She's a draw. So when you're a draw like that, you get paid accordingly. Well, Brian Ortega, I'm not going to say is a Ronda Rousey draw,
No.
but he's a lot more of a draw than Brian Battle. And so when I have to weigh the two things, Brian, I'm sorry, man. Like you also don't handle it very professionally.
It's called apples to oranges. You know, when you're taking a look, you cannot compare Brian Ortega and what he's accomplished in the UFC to Brian Battle. And again, I love Brian Battle. I think he's fun, but not at that level that you look at and you go, you know, was John Jones going to get away, you know, with more than other, you know, light heavyweights or heavyweights? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why? Because of how good he is at fighting.
Because he's John Jones.
There you go. That's, you know, so yeah,
his sample size is big enough to say how great he is.
Yep.
So, like John, the UFC, it's based off of, you know, what you bring in, what the response from the fans are,
what you bring to the table.
Yeah, what you bring to the table, and then that's a direct relation of how they handle you. 100%.
Yeah.
So, you know, I went through this a little bit with Anthony Rumble Johnson. He didn't make the weight so many times. They got tired. They pushed him up, and then he missed the weight at that weight.
And then they got rid of him.
Then he went and fought a couple fights over in the World Series of Fighting.
And showed what?
And showed that, hey, you know what? He fought at heavyweight at the World Series of Fighting and realized that
Andre Arlovsky.
Yeah, his
broke Andre's jaw.
He realized his weight class was 205. He felt comfortable there. Didn't have to kill himself to get down. And he came back, and the thing is, they always loved AJ.
Sure.
They loved him at 170. They loved everything he did. They think about this. The UFC is always, all they ever wanted is a guy that had the power of AJ. Yeah. I want the guy that will knock everybody out. Yeah. Anthony Rumble Johnson was that fucking guy.
Yeah, I want the stick of dynamite.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was. But when you can't make weight, you left him with no choice. He missed weight 5 or 6 times, 3 times with me. And I was like,
but they brought him back.
They brought him back because
that's the whole thing.
He had success over there, but he was also extremely easy to deal with. He was somebody because AJ. I was going to manage AJ for a little bit. What's that?
He's also one of the nicest damn guys.
And that's my point. Is that he came to them, or when they came back and they tried to renegotiate coming back, he said, "Look, I know I messed up. I know I've got to take responsibility for it." And that's all they want to hear.
Sure. Like,
fuck, I messed up. I'm going to do better. I'm going to prove it to you guys. So he went over, you know, and fought, had success over there. Never wanted to fight for the World Series of Fighting title because he knew he couldn't come back. So the UFC had told him, go get some fights, figure out what weight class you want to fucking even fight in, you know, and then come back and then we'll talk. And the good thing about all that, John, was when he left, I think he was only making like 100 and 100. Yeah. And then when he came back, he's making 5 and 5, more. 500 and 500. Yeah. He was almost making $1 million a fight. Fuck it. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish I would have been your fucking manager.
He was making some really good money.
Yeah, he was. He was doing well, man. Yeah, because anyways. But great job, you know. You just got to figure this out. This, like, I think Brian Battle, he doesn't come across to me as someone's going to admit he's going to move on and we may never see him again.
I don't know. You know, I saw him when he went up against, he went to the table of his opponent who was eating and apologized. Said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. It was my bad. I thought going up to 185, I could sit there and basically just, you know, not have to worry about my weight. I was wrong. I screwed up. I apologize to you." He did everything right there. So again, I think in the end, Brian Battle will find his way back because Brian Battle's a good fighter, you know, but they've got to show that, hey, we're not going to put up with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can't. You know, you do it once. okay, you may be able to get away with it twice. You're not going to get away with it a third time.
AJ got away with it for about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it was a different time.
So, but when you got knockout power like that, they gonna let you slide a little bit. So, what else you got for us, George?
All right. So, an update on Sean Strickland's suspension. He got sentenced to a 6-month suspension, but reduced down to 4.5 months if he undergoes anger management. He made a post on Instagram where he posted a AI generated photo of him in an anger management class. And he said, well, ready to put this to bed and get back in the cage. Can't have a terrorist as the champion. Sadly, I think I'm the only one to change that. Appreciate the commission for getting this done. Anger management, here I come.
Man.
What do you guys think?
I think they should do a documentary on this. I think they should do a full taping of Sean, show what happened, show what they can as far as the commission stuff, because there is taping in there, and then show him going to class and what they're doing, and show his responses. I think it'd be a fucking Emmy award winning. A
lot of the word retard being thrown around. Probably the word gay being thrown around as well. Yeah,
fucking gay.
Yeah, exactly what he would say.
See him, man.
Yeah. So I had to take an anger management class when I was younger. I was like 15, 16 years old, and had this counselor, and he was like, with the foam piece, that was like a foam piece. Okay, hit me with it. And he wanted me to hit him with it. So I was like, all right, first off, I'm 15, 16. You're a grown man. The door's closed. Like, this is a little awkward. Like, you're just telling me to hit you with the fucking, like, get the fuck out of here. It felt a little strange, even at my age. Like, this is decades ago. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy.
I'm feeling a little uncomfortable in here.
Yeah, he went full retard. He's like, I was like, this felt very strange.
He went full tard.
He brought
out the Nerf clubs.
Yeah, right. I was like, this is retarded. Anyways, I think it would be hilarious if they did if he did record everything and just see his responses.
Full documentation.
It'd be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. John, I have a question though for you on the 6-month suspension. Is it from his last fight or from the moment of
from the moment that it occurred?
Okay, from the moment that the panel, whatever it was that occurred. Not
his last fight.
No, but not when they gave him the suspension. So it's not 6 months from that suspension. It's from the moment that he committed the crime.
Moment of the crime.
Gotcha.
So he would either be suspended until December or until about mid-October.
Yeah, which is why he's taking. Obviously, he's talked with the UFC, or the UFC's talked with him, and they said, "Look, we can put you on this card if you take that," and that's why it's a 4.5. Why would it be 4.5? Okay, why wouldn't it have been 4?
On? There's a fight. There's a
fight.
We need you.
So they know exactly when they're going to have him fight. He knows exactly when he's going to fight, and he goes to the anger management, and he gets to fight on that card sometime late October, early November.
So you're saying that the UFC has ties to the commission to go ahead and make those changes. 4.5. That seems so random.
John, they didn't make it. The commission made it, but
I know.
Trust me, things have been thought out beforehand.
Okay, George, give me one more. Let's wrap it up on one more.
Okay, now let's wrap it up on something that you wanted to touch on. Islam Makhachev responded to Chimaev's attempt at a pound-for-pound #1 fight match makeup. Islam said, and I quote, I'll answer this here. I don't want to open the door to any kind of conflicts between our people. Well, we will see. I have a tough fight ahead of me. I really like that response from Islam. What do you guys think about his peaceful response?
Brother, let's not go there. Brother.
Yeah, it's classy. Perfect. He handles it with class. I think it was handled perfectly. No reason to cause any controversy. Look, there's already been a little bit of beef between him and Abu Bakr, which is Habib's cousin. They had the little couple fists, like some punches being thrown at each other at one of the UFC events. I think it was a UFC event. Might have been a PFL, but I think it was a UFC event. They got into it a little bit, and then I think they settled it between each other, and the conversation had been had. I'm glad. I don't think to poke fun at it. I think people are they're trying to stir it up. Let's be honest. The UFC is probably not going to let Chimaev go down to 70. They're going to be like, no, if you want to go anywhere, go up. Go up to 205 and then go up to heavyweight. If you want to go, you got the wrestling to beat the heavyweights. You know, if you can put the weight on properly, whatever it is, but let's get you to 205 first. You can for sure win a title at 205. For sure. I mean, like none of those, not a lot of those guys can wrestle at 205. So go to 205, you know, defend your title a couple times here. Let's get you some money. And then let's go ahead and get you to 205. You can win a title there. And then we'll talk about heavyweight. I don't think it's going to be in the books for them to go to 170. No. They've ran that through. You missed it by 8 pounds. It's just not going to happen, I don't think. So, and we've seen by his performance, his cardio's fine when he's not having to cut weight. And let's not take any chances. Because the other thing, look, once he won that belt at 185, if you go to 70, now you make the 185-pound title weak if you lose. If you lose to a 70-pounder,
always
it looks bad.
Yeah,
it looks bad. So, I think that was a little bit. Remember when TJ came down to 125?
TJ went down and fought Henry Cejudo.
And everyone's like, "Oh man, maybe and Henry was able to win." Then Henry went up to 35 and won the title. It's like, oh shit, Henry's that good. That makes sense.
Save that. Exactly.
Yeah, that adds value.
Yeah.
So, that being said, there was one more thing. John, what do you take on that?
I agree with you. It's ridiculous. They won't even allow Chimaev to even think about going to 170.
I don't think so.
It's not going to be part of the equation. You would have to have Islam going up, and I don't think Islam should go to 185. But we'll see what happens.
I wanted to say, George, one more thing. Okay, and we're going to spend about 10 minutes on this. I wanted to say this because it's I was going to do my own little thing on it, but I wanted to do it with you just because I want to, like, the UFC. Do you believe the UFC dodged a bullet by letting Francis Ngannou go?
Do I believe that they dodged a bullet?
Yeah. With all the comments that Francis has been putting out lately, the Don Davis situation, like I was upset when he didn't come to the PFL Africa, and then Francis saying he was upset because the African fighters were on the prelims. John, the reason why I'm saying this, and I love Francis, I think he's a fantastic fighter. I think he's been great for the sport. But these little things, when it came to contract negotiations with the UFC, it lets you know that he has no concept of how you build a star. He has no concept of how a promotion is run. He has no concept on how you make these African fighters that he's trying to prop up by putting them on the main card. If they didn't have great performances, which they did, by the way, they had fantastic performances.
Yeah.
But if they didn't, now you have a bunch of fighters that no one knows fighting right below or on the main event above fighters that are better or have bigger names than them. That's a problem.
That is an absolute problem. That's why you can't do it. If you're the promotion, you've got to, especially on your main card, you can always stick a name in there that nobody knows against the name that everybody knows. You can do that. But if that name that nobody knows doesn't perform well, then people are saying that the promotion is doing what? Oh, they're just stacking the card because they want that guy to win and stuff like that. So you always play this balance game. And I agree with you in that, that card for PFL Africa, which was the Johnny Eblin versus Costello for their main event. Look, they had some really good fights on that. They had Dakota there, and you've got to try to put out your best people so you hopefully come up with your best fights and people get to see your stars that you have already worked on making. You don't sit there and try to make a bunch of African fighters stars in that moment. That doesn't work. You do exactly what they did. They, did another card there in Africa, and they had a bunch of African fighters, some against each other, others, fighting, people from different countries, but that was their ability to start to make stars. Mm-hmm. And for Francis to be in the position, I'm just going to say it, you can't, this all comes down to the whole thing where you're going to be part of the promotion. You're going to be doing the business side. You're going to be in charge of, PFL Africa. Then stop fighting, because you can't do both. There's no way. You want to be a fighter, put all that to the side, let the people do the work that, do that work, and you fight on those cards or wherever and build up those cards. Great. But you try to do everything, nothing gets done right.
Yeah, you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out,
That's
and
it.
then half-assing everything. I understand what you're saying, but this is, to me, when I say, did the UFC dodge a bullet? Because if you give them any, and this has been before, right? When it was Tito wanting more power, wanting to have more say, and they said no, we're millions of dollars into this. Like, no, you're not getting any say. We're the ones putting our money on the line. The same situation in this, like, we're going to pay you accordingly to fight fights. Your job is to fight. Your job is not to be involved in this. So when you went to the PFL and the PFL basically gave him everything you wanted, I mean, his opponents are making $2 million.
I know. The fact that he was able to negotiate what his opponent would be able to make facing him, you look and you go, it's not for you to decide.
No. And so when you gave somebody,
what you're going to sign your contract for.
When you give another fighter that much power, when you give a fighter that much power over your promotion and how you run it, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And as much as I want him to be involved, because I think he is a great ambassador for PFL Africa or just MMA Africa, period. You decided you wanted that. And then when they delivered it to you, you weren't happy with, because they put the fighters on the prelims. I'm sorry, but the way you build younger fighters is by having the best fighters at the top and putting them right below so more people watch. More people watch that card because Johnny Eblen and Costello Vanstinas and Dakota Jacheva were on that card. Yep. If they would have fought first and then the other fighters would have been on after, everyone would have turned it off. And we just would have watched the highlights on Instagram like most of them did anyways. So I think you've got to understand how to be a promoter. And your business is to be a fighter, not to be a promoter. Focus on that. Like, now you're not fighting PFL anyways. You're trying to get the Deontay Wilder fight. They did you a solid by giving you everything you wanted. And you
fought one fight.
You've only given them one fight. And so it baffles me. And now what it is doing, though, too, it's validating everything that Dana had said. He was hard to deal with. They just wanted this, they wanted that. And like, we were willing to give them as much as we could, but without giving them control. Yeah. And that makes sense as a promotion that you guys are a $1 billion business.
Look, the UFC for years has been in positions where they wanted fighters. And look, they wanted Francis as a fighter. They were willing to pay him, good money and stuff, but then they're not into having Francis as a business partner. It's no different than when they wanted Fedor. Look, they wanted Fedor. They were willing to pay Fedor a ton of money.
They wanted Fedor more than probably any other fighter they've ever wanted.
Absolutely.
Brock Lesnar maybe equal, if not a little bit more, maybe Brock, but somewhere in there.
But it was not Fedor himself, but it's Fedor's team at the time were asking for things as far as control. And the UFC, no, we're not doing that. And they have repeatedly shown, we will go this far. We will not cross that line. And they're not going to cross that line. And that's why they ended up losing, and Francis, Francis is a wonderful person. He's a great guy. But sometimes, you're putting the cart before the horse. You're a fighter. Be the fighter. And then you want to be part of something else. Great. Do it. Set yourself up for it. There's ways of doing it behind the scenes to get yourself in there. You don't have to do it in a contract negotiation while you're fighting. But, I look at it and I truthfully believe the UFC, the UFC, they're glad they don't have the bullshit. They would love to have the fighter.
Yeah.
They want a quality heavyweight. But if you're the PFL has done nothing wrong as far as this whole thing. The PFL is in a position where they've done him a solid more times than he's done for them. So, the fact that he didn't show up doesn't look good.
Yeah. I think it's just validating what Dana was saying. Difficult to deal with. Yeah. Wants more than he gives. Fusses about everything like that. That sucks because I don't know him as personally as you do, but I've been in passing. He's super nice, easy to talk to.
Super guy.
Seems like a great person. But there's two sides to every story. Like, if you talk to Frank Shamrock when he was younger, he was great to talk to.
Oh yeah.
You get into any business with that dude.
Pain in the ass.
Fucking what a pain in the fucking ass. Right?
He knew what he
It didn't
wanted.
matter. It could be over $20 for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
He was ready to kick your ass or try to kick your ass for fucking $20 over a t-shirt. That was Frank Shamrock. In this situation, I just feel like there's a little bit of validation now from Dana and the UFC saying like, you know, what Don Davis and the PFL are having to go through.
Yeah.
And we set this up for you. You wanted this, and,
Yeah,
and we're
that was
happy.
the whole
We're
thing.
happy
You
to do
asked
it.
for it.
And we're happy to do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're delivering what you asked for, and then you didn't show. And then let you know that he just doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to the promotion side of it. You're a fighter. Be a fighter. Learn the promotion business side of it. Be more involved. I used to follow Scott Coker around, you know, and be like, hey, like, what are you doing? Rich Chow, Mike Kogan. I always asked them, like, what exactly do you do? Like, where do you meetings? Like,
Yeah, because you don't do much.
They do. I mean,
Yeah,
but
they do.
you know, I'd meet up with Coker all the time for coffee in the morning. We'd talk about the day, talk about, you know, what was going on for events, whatever it was coming up. I always wanted to know his brain, how it worked. And the same thing with Kogan, and the same thing with, I think Kogan kind of got irritated with me because I'd always ask a lot more
All the
personal
time.
questions. But Rich Chow always, you know, we would just chat it up, and Rich was really good at keeping things back that he knew couldn't be out, and talking to me about a lot of other things. And just there's certain things you got to keep close to the vest, you know, and you have to know as a friend, and not just as a friend, but just as a company person too, not to be sharing that infocyte. With him, with Francis, he needs to learn that side of the business. Hang out with Mike Kogan, spend more time with him, get to know what he's actually doing. Hang out with the fighter ops guys. You got MJ there, man. MJ is probably one of the best in the business as a fighter ops guy. I would hang out with MJ and see exactly what those guys go through when fighters are fucking late, don't make weight, you know, fucking their teams and stuff are getting in fights and scuffles in the back. Like and you got too many people inside the cage. You're jumping over the cage, running into the crowd. These are all fighter ops problems they've got to deal with. So learning the business, learning how it all goes about and how much money they spend, it's important. So if you want to start telling these promotions what to do, get to know it first. Be like, okay, now I see this side. Don't just think it just happens.
Yeah.
We all think it just happens. I mean, I did for a long time. So you got to learn it. Yeah. Sad. I was upset to hear him say those things because he's only fought in the UFC or PFL one time, you know, and yet he's looking for another boxing match.
I know.
And yeah, so sad, disappointing, but hopefully it all works out in the end. Because I like what the PFL is doing right now. I mean, they got to stop with this whole rap shit before they're made of
Dude,
it.
okay, you know what? It's funny because you said that, and I was like, you know, that they had the whole thing, and I go, how many times does someone have to do this to realize it doesn't work?
Nope.
Stop. Okay, I was loving what I was seeing in the PFL as far as there was fights, decisions, talk. Boom, here comes out the next fight. I'm like, there you go. That's what we're talking about, man. Let's just go. Good pacing. And then you bring out, I'm sorry, I don't know, little Shawnee, whatever. You know, it's like,
No idea either.
But, you know.
I knew the songs. I didn't know who he was, but I knew the songs.
Sorry. And nothing against him. It's just, I don't care who it is. No, don't bring singers in and have them singing in the middle of the fight card.
Yeah. The only time, and this was a walkout. This wasn't even the only time I've ever, even all walkouts
are okay. I'm all right.
No, I think they're stupid then too. The only time one that's been done properly was the Sinead O'Connor one with Connor. That was the only one that I thought was done right. Because she was up, I think, in the rafters or something.
She's up on a pedestal.
She wasn't walking out, doing the dance moves, hyping up the crowd, dragging the fucking walkout long. It was like she sang her song and he walked out and then it was in. Like nothing changed.
Yeah.
It was just literally his walkout with her live there in person, which was awesome. But then when you have the rappers and they're like, you know, stopping and making everyone wait, and I'm like, just get your ass in the cage already. Come on. All right, guys. Well, hey, hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. We've been up all night, so I'm gonna go watch some soccer and some football, and then I'm gonna take a little power nap, and then I'm gonna go watch some more soccer and football for the kiddos, and then get a good night dinner. We don't got to film tonight. Keto George, Ginger George is gonna get this out sometime today, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And John, take us away, buddy.
Everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it for you, and it's time for us to get some sleep. So we will see you.
And now bringing you that hard hitting fight analysis, submitting you into paralysis. Josh Thompson head kicking leg to dome, and John McCarthy saying, let's get it on.